A few weeks ago, the DSS was activated. After 2 months of building, 5 months of foreshadowing, and 8 months of leaks, it finally came to being. With 3 actions available, a democratic voting system, and the building of several full moons, it is finally active. And the reactions have been mixed? Yeah, sounds about right. I mean, to be fair, so was Meridia when it first arrived, and now look how we view it. But enough of the reaction. What was the in-universe history of the DSS? Well, this video will break down everything about the DSS's history, from its first development and discovery, to its first activation, till its destruction of the Jet Brigade, and even to its future. So let's go back to the First Galactic War. During the First Galactic War on X-45, the Ministry of Science had been using a lab to concept the use of an intergalactic battle station to aid in the liberation of planets. X-45, however, was attacked before the intergalactic battle station could even enter the idea of being constructed. Due to unknown reasons, X-45 had an increased level of radiation, forcing the Ministry of Science to abandon super destroyer upgrade concepts, a huge stash of commandos, and most importantly, the intergalactic battle station plans behind to be covered by rubble, which is where they'd stay for the next 100 years. 5 months ago, a little after the destruction of Meridia, helldivers were called to defend X-45 as the radiation levels had finally decreased to a safe point. So the Super Earth Mining Center could excavate for the old lab and find the Super Destroyer upgrades, the commandos, and finally the plans for the intergalactic battle station. After 7 days and 4 attacks, we were finally able to obtain the plans and the rest of the goodies from the lab and destroying it so the bots couldn't obtain it for themselves. And after 3 months of hard work, the plans were finally able to be put to use on September 25th. The Helldivers were finally given the choice to liberate 2 planets, Classa and Gulliver. If either of these planets were liberated within the next 6 days, we would be given the opportunity to start the building of the intergalactic space station, now named the Democracies space station. The resistance on these planets was difficult, and since we needed to liberate the planets from 0 to 100%, it was a difficult mission to liberate these planets. However, after 3 days of courageous warfare, Gulliver had been liberated and the DSS had been immediately set up on it in its first stage of construction. Along with it, Tars, which was liberated at the time, had been converted into the DSS logistics hub, so it could provide the materials that the DSS needed as fast as possible, which would be needed for us to make it as fast as we could, so that it wouldn't be discovered by the bots and taken over or destroyed. That's why most bot divers immediately jumped to Celt to liberate it and protect the DSS. Meanwhile, High Command sent us the next order for making the DSS. The DSS, while still beautiful at the time, was really incomplete. One of the reasons for it being incomplete was that it couldn't move. The current available engines, the Alcool BL drives, wouldn't be able to move the DSS without using a comical amount of E710. So the Helldivers were called in to Horde Turing, where the Ministry of Science built a xenoentomology center to make state-of-the-art high-efficiency engines capable of moving the DSS. While most bug divers defended and liberated planets connected to Turing, this is a war on 2 fronts, and the bot divers were well on their way to liberate Celt. However, seemingly back-to-back, both Turing and Maestia went under attack. Starting with Maestia, the attack came from Celt, which was 80% liberated at the time, and if successful would have separated the DSS from its logistics hub. However, the Helldivers took a risky choice not to defend Maestia but instead attack Celt, because if Celt was liberated, the attack on Maestia would stop, because it would have nowhere to come from. This gambit, named after an old chess strategy, was successful and allowed us to both protect the DSS and keep it connected to its logistics hub. In terms of the Turing defense, it came from Akamar 4, which at the time was 90% liberated. However, in order to not risk the defense failing, Helldivers chose to liberate Turing first, then go back to liberate Akamar 4 when the entomology center was fully safe. With that being said, the Xenoentomology Center was fully built, and we were well on our way to making these new Alcubierre drives, and allowing the DSS to be able to move from the planet to planet, and not just be stuck in Gulliver's orbit. However, even if the DSS was able to move, with the current building materials it would arrive on the other side fully destroyed, due to the material not being durable enough. A material that would be durable enough is cobalt, and cobalt is something that Clarel was rich in. Hell, even the bots knew that, as they started to building a deep mantle forge complex in the center of the planet in order to mine these materials. When High Command found this out, they immediately sent helldivers to liberate Clarel. This was tricky though, as at the time we had no supply route to Clarel, so we needed to liberate either Imber or Classa. With 1.5 days remaining in the major order, we liberated Imber and had to speedrun the liberation of Clarel. And with just a few hours remaining, Clarel was in our hands, and its deep mantle forge complex was producing valuable cobalt for us. So much in fact that the DSS was able to enter its second stage of construction, allowing it to start resembling the Ring of Freedom that it would end up being once fully built. After one more major order that requested us to hold Clarel, High Command noticed that the Xeno-Entomology Center needed more E710 in order to make these advanced Alcubierre drives. That's why High Command authorized the demilitarization of Akamar 4 and allowing the construction of the Terminid Research Preserve, enabling the Ministry of Science to harvest terminids more efficiently. With this, they would be able to have more than enough E710 to make the advanced Alcubierre drives and put them on the DSS as fast as possible. Also, the Ministry of Science made an addition to the Research Preserve. Called Tyranny Park, it would help with the funding of the DSS. The park would allow super citizens to view the terminids closer than ever before, and with a bigger fee, actually hunt some of the terminids. Of course, being overseen by the Ministry of Defense, what could possibly go wrong, right? Anyways, the helldivers easily did this, setting up the preserve and park with ease, and allowing it to provide more fuel for the entomology center, and helping them make the Alcubierre. The automatons were cooking up a super weapon of their own. Made from stolen helldivers jump packs, the automatons made the Jet Brigade, a fucking swarm of suicidal jump pack bots, able to make attacks with 2 million HP, double the HP of a normal planet. They were searching for the DSS, after finding out about it through a data reach of their logistics hub. After 3 hard-fought wars, 2 planets lost, and some of the most fun I've had with the game, we beat the Jet Brigade on Marfark. They were gone for now, but they began rebuilding operations to become stronger than ever. During the fight with the Jet Brigade, 2 objectives have been set up for us. Gloom behavior indicated that a lot of planet attacks would be happening in the next few days, while on the other front, the rider of the Jet Brigade acted as a warning for us to keep the DSS safer than before by taking all planets that had a supply line to Gullivar. The only planet left was Lazath. Time was short, as Super Earth's greatest day, Liberty Day, was in 3 days, so we had time to only do one of these objectives. The choice was left to the helldivers. The helldivers chose to liberate Lazath, as the DSS safety was top priority, and with its safety guaranteed, it was allowed to progress into its third and final stage of construction. However, with this choice came the loss of Gakrooks and Pantheon 24. Which were connected to Akamar 4, which set off a few disruptions in Tyranny Park. Nothing to be worried about at the time though. After that, Super Earth happily celebrated Liberty Day, got a reconstitution rifles and first galactic war armor, watched the moon bombardment, which definitely didn't foreshadow anything, and hit 100,000 players. Overall, we had a great time, which was needed because we were getting one of the toughest MMOs imaginable. Okay, this one isn't directly related to the DSS, but it's the most comically filled to the brim MMO in terms of objectives that I just had to mention it. Plus it's related to things related to the DSS, so it's really a friend of my friend situation. Anyway, this MMO had us liberate Atar Bay, as some data on the Jet Brigade's location was found on that planet, defend 5 attacks from the automatons, as it was heard through some deciphered messages that the automatons wanted more ground, and liberate Gakrooks and Pantheon 24 in order to protect the Research Preserve. Even after all of that, the helldivers almost won. Had we had a few more hours, we would have liberated Gakrooks and fully completed the MMO, but alas, we were 5 hours late, and therefore High Command refused the great artwork and gave us a 0. We still managed to liberate Gakrooks though, thus keeping the Research Preserve safe, getting the data on the Jet Brigade and stopping the automatons from getting the Hell territory. The divers were for the most part successful. Second to last MO, the DSS is nearly ready, needing only two things. One, to be fuel, and two, to be heavily staffed. The first one was still a bit into the future for now, but the second one can be completed now, because citizens on Terik, Sirius and Agents Venture are requesting to be sent to work on the DSS. This much staff would be more than enough to fully construct the DSS and have it operational. However, the moving of these citizens from the planets to the DSS would take days. Meanwhile, the Gloom was ready to send attacks to take over where it's needed. The helldivers were needed to hold these planets and to defend 8 attacks from the terminids. Some planets were lost. One is ready to be taken over by the Gloom, and we witnessed the first multiple attack planet. But even with this, 8 attacks were defended, and the citizens were safely transported to the DSS, allowing it to be fully completed, only needing a lot of fuel. But hey, the terminids exist for a reason. The time has come. The Democracy space station is fully constructed and ready for activation. The sole remaining step to bring the station online is the procurement of enough E710 to power its state-of-the-art, high-efficiency Akubi air drives. However, this wouldn't be easy. The Jet Brigade is back from the landfill, and they're ready to attack the DSS. With only 3 planets till they reach it, we needed to kill the terminids as fast as possible. 500 million terminids has been done before, but not in such a short time. So we need to kill them as fast as physically possible, before Gullivar is lost. First day we were making progress, about 70 million terminids in less than 24 hours. By this rate we'll have done it by level 58? What the fuck? Okay, we're in danger. This attack was unwinnable. We needed 102% of our forces to be on the planet in order to take it. What we needed to do is split and damage the Jet Brigade as much as possible while still gaining fuel for the DSS. Unfortunately, we managed to deal a serviceable number on the Jet Brigade and collect some decent fuel. Day 2 was looking pretty good. We had closed in around 40 to 50% of the fuel needed for the DSS, and the attack by the Jet Brigade on Tars was almost over. Tars had importance, but now its loss only meant that the DSS location was known. Worse things could have happened if the attack came sooner, but even now it was still a... What the fuck is that? The quintuple bug attack! Akamar is lost, and all planets surrounding it are under attack. Time isn't there to liberate the planet. Only one of these can be saved. Terring was saved, as the warp drives are still very valuable, but all other planets were completely lost. However, these losses were somewhat needed in order for us to collect the fuel needed for the DSS, as with these losses, a lot of fuel was gained, anywhere from 70 to 80% by day 3. This wasn't the only thing that was happening that day though, as Maestia was attacked, a level 47 defense campaign. Still pretty much impossible to be saved, but the damage done was promising. Hopefully by the end of the attack the Jet Brigade would be damaged enough for the DSS to finish it off. Day 4 was the day that it happened. The DSS finally came online. This super weapon, equipped with 77 presidential class cannons, a 24/7 fleet of Eagle fighters and a 0G anti-air missile system, equipped with enough overall power to destroy a small moon and still having enough access power to provide all super destroyers on the planet with extra supplies. This station, equivalent to the Death Star, is democracy made manifest. But it wouldn't see use until a day later on Mastia, as we were instructed by High Command to take the planet in order to be able to gambit it, saving Gullivar and destroying the Jet Brigades. However, even with the help of the DSS through planetary bombardment, it wasn't enough to fully liberate Mastia. Breaking character for a little, the planetary bombardment wasn't actually well received by the community. This could be the reason for Maestia's gambits failing. However, in universe this definitely wasn't the case, as the only reported problem by the DSS was that it caused a few more than expected casualties. Going back into character, on the final day the DSS was moved to Gullivar. While this would seem like a strategic blunder, the Eagle Storm was actually activated, temporarily halting the attack on Gullivar and buying the helldivers more time to gambit by liberating Mastia. However, the helldivers took the riskier strategy of defending Gullivar instead of doing a gambit. Breaking character again. The reason for this wasn't that the helldivers wanted to defend Gullivar, it was because the Eagle Storm hard, and against the Jet Brigade was pretty much the most fun I've had playing this game ever. Back into character, while the Ego Storm was active, the Major Order actually ended it, thus technically giving us victory over the bots and the bugs. Over mere hours after the DSS left Gulliver's orbit to liberate Arkham R4, Gulliver was lost, leaving the Major Order as a success in quotation marks. These few days were filled with tragic death, losses, and disappointment in the Helldiver Corp. However, these days wouldn't show a fraction of the DSS's power, as its true power would be shown in the next Major Order. The automatton jet brigade has stolen large swarms of territory from our citizens, and the outbreak of the bugs from the Terminid research center has led to the infestation of several planets. However, with these losses, the DSS was made, and it was ready to take back all of the losses and some more, and it did that. It destroyed the jet brigade on Imber, liberating Gulliver, liberated Krimzika, liberated Gar Harin, and shortly after the Major Order, liberated Lasath as well, which is the main territorial loss in this MO, along with Imber, which was also liberated. This MO was a clean and cut victory, with a planet liberated to a planet lost ratio being 2 for the liberated side. Playing character again, the DSS helped, but I don't know how. The last MO like this was a loss, but this one was a clean victory, and the most confusing part was that this one had less players. The only thing that happened was Buff Divers Part 2, which was a while ago and really didn't affect numbers for the most part, and the DSS. So basically the only difference was the DSS. It must have some unknown passive ability or something, because for most days it doesn't do anything, so why did it matter? Back into character, the DSS has proven itself as the greatest tool at Democracy's arsenal, and will continue to see use for many Major Orders to come. As for me, I have to leave now, to teach these young bucks how the DSS actually works. See you then, Helldiver, and continue spreading managed democracy across the worlds, with or without the DSS by your planet side. See you on the front. So that's it for this video. For the next one, as said, I'll explain how the DSS actually works. I would have included it in this video, but then this video would end up being 20 minutes plus. If I was promised 20 blobs for the completion of that video, I still wouldn't have done it, as god damn it, I am not editing a 20-minute video by myself. So that's it, and as always, final thing before you leave, drink water, eat an apple, talk to your families, and subscribe to the channel for new videos, and I'll see you in the next one.